A long-lost circle has been found beneath the monument, according to new research. And it's made up of blue stones that could rewrite history. It's hard to believe that after all these years we still don't know how Stonehenge was built, or why. We've always known Stonehenge was an amazing construction, but a recent study has revealed just how incredible it really is. The monument builders may have used a simple yet incredibly effective method to lift the massive rocks into place. With the help of modern technology, we can finally see what they did. Using ground-penetrating radar, scientists were able to look beneath the surface of the monument and see things that no one has ever seen before. They discovered a series of pits that were filled with wood, which means the builders used a clever technique to dig them out. They cut down the trees and then filled the holes with wood, perhaps as a form of preservation, or maybe even as a way to make the holes easier to dig. Either way, it was a very effective method, and we're only now learning about it. But there are other secrets buried beneath Stonehenge that are even more shocking. Archaeologists recently uncovered a previously unknown structure hidden beneath the monument. It's a huge circular ditch that dates back thousands of years. This discovery has shocked experts who say it could rewrite history. But what does it mean for our understanding of Stonehenge? And why are they so excited about this find? Well, the answer lies in the fact that this ditch was probably used as part of a burial ritual. That's right. Stonehenge wasn't just a place where people came to watch the stars. It was also a burial ground for the dead. In fact, archaeologists have found over 600 human remains at the site. Some were cremated, while others were buried in full view of the monument. Experts believe that these burials took place between 3100 BC and 2000 BC, which is around 5,000 years ago. But what does this tell us about the people who lived back then? Well, it tells us that they were likely very superstitious and believed that Stonehenge had magical powers. After all, they wouldn't have buried their dead there if it wasn't for that reason. The people who lived near Stonehenge believed that the monument was a portal to the afterlife, a gateway between our world and the next. This is why they buried their dead there, hoping that their souls would pass through the portal and be taken to the next world. Of course, there's no evidence to support this belief. But it was a common theory among the Druids and other Celtic people who lived in Britain during the Iron Age. But Stonehenge isn't the only place where people believed that portals to the afterlife existed. In fact, there are similar stories from cultures all over the world. The ancient Egyptians, for example, believed that the pyramids were portals to the afterlife. This is why they built them with such precision and accuracy. They wanted to create structures that would allow the pharaohs to travel safely to the next world. Mayans also believed that their temples were portals to another dimension. This is why they built them so tall and so steep. They wanted to reach the heavens and connect with the gods. But portals are just one possible explanation for Stonehenge's purpose. There are other theories that are equally fascinating. For example, some experts believe that Stonehenge was an ancient observatory. This theory is based on the fact that the monument is aligned with the solstices and the equinoxes. This means that the builders of Stonehenge knew a lot about astronomy and used the monument to track the movement of the sun and the moon. If this is true, then Stonehenge would be the oldest observatory in the world. Of course, there's no way to prove this theory, but it's certainly an interesting one. And don't forget about the blue stones. These are some of the most mysterious objects at Stonehenge because no one knows where they came from. We know that they were brought to the site from a quarry in Wales, but we don't know how they got there. It could have been transported by boat or by land, but we don't know for sure. What we do know is that the builders of Stonehenge went to great lengths to obtain these stones. They would have been very valuable and rare, so they must have been used for a very important purpose. Some experts believe that the blue stones were used to create a portal, and others believe that they were used to mark the solstices and the equinoxes. Whatever the case may be, we know that they played an important role in the construction of Stonehenge. Now, let's take a look at the cylindrical rock core that was found beneath the monument. This is probably the most important piece of evidence we have in terms of understanding Stonehenge's history. It's a huge block of stone that weighs several tons, and it was likely used as an anvil during the construction of the monument. But why is this so important? Well, it tells us that Stonehenge was built over a very long period of time. It wasn't constructed all at once, but rather it was added to over the course of several centuries. This also tells us that the builders of Stonehenge were very patient and very skilled. They didn't have any heavy machinery to help them, so they had to do everything by hand. Imagine trying to move a giant rock monolith into place without the help of modern tools. It would be nearly impossible. But these builders did it time and time again, and now we know that they had a system to help them do it. The cylindrical rock core was likely used as an anchor point, and then the builders used ropes and pulleys to lift the monoliths into place. This is a very simple explanation for how Stonehenge was built, but it makes a lot of sense. It's practical, and it's backed up by physical evidence. And when you think about it, Stonehenge is a very old structure. It was built thousands of years ago when the people who lived there didn't have access to modern tools and technology. So how did they do it? They had to use whatever materials they had available to them. That's why we're seeing such a variety of rocks and stones at the monument today. There are sarsen stones, which are large blocks of sandstone that weigh several tons. There are also smaller pebbles and pieces of flint that were likely picked up by the builders as they traveled to the monument. These builders weren't just lazy, they were resourceful. They used what they had to create one of the most impressive structures in human history. And now we're starting to understand their methods. We're rediscovering how they used basic tools and techniques to construct something that baffled experts for centuries. Stonehenge is a monument that was built by ordinary people with extraordinary determination. It's a testament to the human spirit and our ability to create something beautiful and lasting. And now we're finally starting to understand the secrets behind its construction. One thing is certain, though. As we continue to learn more about Stonehenge, the more questions we have. Every new discovery seems to open up more mysteries than it answers. But that's what makes Stonehenge so fascinating. It's a puzzle that we may never be able to solve, but the journey to try is worth it. As experts continue to study the monument, we can be sure that more secrets will be revealed. Who knows what other mysteries Stonehenge is hiding? But one thing is certain, it's a site that's unlike any other, and a monument that's truly one of a kind. If you're a history buff or just someone who loves to explore the unknown, then be sure to subscribe to our channel. We bring you new videos every week on a variety of topics that are sure to get you thinking. So what are you waiting for? Join us today and let's learn about history together.